All right, I think we can get started. All right, so thanks for coming, everyone. We are glad that you're here, all 63 of you, and we will do our best to answer all of your questions. Dragoslav is our resident Unreal Engine expert, and he has made some time available for you to answer questions. So I'll ask you, Dragoslav, if you want to introduce yourself, give us a little bit of a background for who you are.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Glad to see you all here, guys. My name is Dragoslav, aka Valsogard, and just like Riptide said, I'm an Unreal Engine expert. I've been working with real-time 3D graphics for the past 12-ish, 13-ish years about. For the last 6 years, I've been focusing strictly in developing not just games, but general apps in Unreal Engine. And here we are. I'm looking forward to this AMA session and looking forward to your nice questions.
Cool. Thank you. I don't think we need to introduce ourselves. Most of you know who myself, Shan, and Rhythm are. So I think to save time, we should just dive on into it. So what we're going to do is there's been some pre-asked questions on the AMA questions channel, so we'll go through some of those. Some we may not get to, and those that we don't get to we'll answer in text afterwards. Wiz has answered ones that none of us know the answer to. So we'll post those after the AMA is done. For most of the hour, we will do answers to those text questions, but we will also invite people to speak and ask their questions live on the AMA, probably towards the last sort of 20 minutes of the AMA. We'll see how we go. So if you want to ask a question and you feel up to being on the AMA, just raise your hand and we'll get you up. So I guess I'll start it off. One of the questions we had was, can you elaborate on how the staffs will be able to cast different spells and how that will impact gameplay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Apart from the visual appeal and visual aspect of staffs, of course, they are going to have some utility. Spell casting by staff will have certain utilities, such as it will allow you to teleport. We are considering allowing you to use your staff for resource farming, structure building, crafting, and maybe some other things. We are considering them, and feel free to give us your ideas. But the way I would describe it, standard wizardy stuff with stuff, pun intended.
Yep, perfect. That's great. So, all right, we'll move on from that one. Well, this is actually pretty relevant for some people. Will the game be built and supported on Mac?
Yeah, speaking of Mac, at the moment we are focusing on a Windows platform. And at the moment, we don't want to promise anything for certain. Of course, we are definitely aware that we do have audience that is on Mac OS and Mac OS devices. And we do need to do some testing. And also, I would like to mention that one factor is in which we don't necessarily have a control, and that is the ongoing feud between Epic Games. Epic Games is the creator of and developer of Unreal Engine, which we are using for the development of Cosmic Universe game.
Yep.
And there is this ongoing battle, ongoing feud between Epic Games and Apple. So Apple as a company might decide to cut the support for drivers and patches. But anyway, there are solutions for people who are gonna be using Mac OS, and of course, long term, we do want to have support for Mac OS, but at the moment, we can't promise anything for certain.
Yeah, that's kind of out of our hands at the moment. That part of it, we'll do our best to, enable it for all users, though.
Yeah, exactly.
So Chinda asked, do you have a contingency or expansion plan or readiness in case Harmony blockchain doesn't tick all the requirements of the game?
This question is maybe not necessarily for game dev, but I can answer. The short and simple answer would be yes, we do. And when it comes to blockchain itself, it doesn't necessarily affect the game mechanics and the way the game is being developed. So wherever the game is going to be in the end, is it going to be on Harmony or this or that? It doesn't really matter. The game is being developed. And yeah, that would be my answer. If you guys want to add to this, feel free to.
No, I think that was solid answer. I don't think we really have anything to add to that.
No, I don't have anything to add to that. What will we be able to interact with in the game? Like, can we climb trees and rocks? Will there be fun elements like the wizard doing magic when harvesting resources? Basically, what immersive, like running, climbing, gliding, and visual, like magic and spells, elements will the game have to fulfill entertainment purposes?
Yeah, of course there are going to be fun elements and interactive elements. You will be able to teleport yourself. Like I said, staff would be used for, probably is going to be used for doing something interesting visually when you are harvesting resources and other parts, because that all goes into the whole theme, the whole topic around the visual aspect of Cosmic Universe. And of course, there will be other fun elements, and but they wouldn't be as fun if we were to disclose all of them at the moment. And of course, feel free to provide your ideas, but there are going to be a lot of different aspects. When it comes to climbing rocks and trees in particular, climbing trees might not be as wizardy thing. I don't know, maybe for other races that we are planning. When it comes to climbing rocks, that's probably going to be implemented, but a bit later. One of the things that is probably gonna be implemented later is something like swimming. But at the end of the day, we are prioritizing the core gameplay stuff like running around, jumping, doing the most important wizardy things, as I would describe. So yeah, swimming isn't something that is the top priority for wizards, but overall the core mechanics will be there for sure. And we are still both discussing them internally and also listening to wishes and ideas of you guys, our lovely community.
Yeah, that's, and we've gotten some really good ideas for the community that we are planning on implementing. So we are very happy to to get all those ideas and use the ones that we can.
Yes. Speaking of that, I would just like to quickly add. I've definitely seen some of the ideas by the community, and they are definitely helpful, providing us not just with the introspective about the demand of community, but also they are definitely legitimate creative ideas. So that's what I wanted to add and give props to our community.
Yeah, cool. We do have the best community on Harmony, I think. All right. We'll move on to a question. This is from Yakul. It's quite a long question, so I'll get through as quick as I can. So to continue with immersion, because I love feeling immersed in a game, if certain elements of immersion are harder and will take longer to develop, would it be possible to add different immersion characteristics later on? I won't actually go into the example that you've given. We'll just let Dragoslav answer it from there.
Okay, here's my answer. Yeah, that's correct. We do plan on continuously adding features. We are not gonna stop once the game is released. And to connect with my previous answer to the previous question, we are very actively listening to the community and also internally discussing additional features. There are a lot of things for the future when it comes to the expansion of the game, both from the aspect of having more races, more islands, etc., but also more features and more stuff to do gameplay wise. And we gotta take care of the balancing act between factors which are difficulty of implementation, because some things of course take more time and more resources to implement, while others take less. And of course, listening to your input, guys, is always very important, and it's most probably gonna stay. It will stay very important to us. And one thing that I would like to single out is teleportation in particular. And you guys will be able to teleport with your wizards, not just wizards, with characters in general, on the day one of the game's launch.
Very cool. I think that's going to be very helpful to a lot of people traveling around. All right. This is a question that I've seen a lot, and I'd like the answer to it as well. So, will we have the ability to voice chat in game, or will it just be text? The questioner understands that voice chat is a bit more complicated. So if it's just text, can we create group chats or guild chats and one-on-one chats, that kind of thing? And will there be a friends list as well to keep track of people that you regularly play with?
You want to answer with your part, or should I go strictly directly?
Just go into
okay
what you know.
Okay. Long term, we do plan to have both text and voice chat. At the moment, they are not on our agenda because we are prioritizing other, if I should say, more important core gameplay mechanics. But like I said, long term, we are gonna have them both. When it comes to friend lists, yes, you will have your friend list. That's probably going to include the guild list as well, because those are things like pretty similar from technical perspective. The ability to look up for certain people, for certain characters, and maybe join them, and that's most probably going to be implemented. When it comes to the actual implementation, maybe this could be a cool idea where you harvest or combine and acquire some sort of magic, some sort of spell, or a specific stone, which would allow you to teleport to that particular entity. I mean, this is just one of the ideas. You guys feel free to share your ideas as well. But we also want to discover and think about other interesting ways how we can make cross-player interaction more interesting, because we do want to implement in the game itself some gameplay mechanics and features that are, I wouldn't say necessarily not seen anywhere else, but are more kinda rare. We are trying to be as creative as possible and as unique as possible, both from the gameplay perspective and from a visual perspective as well.
Cool. That's perfect. I think communication in game, both voice and text, is really cool to have that. Like you said, down the road, once we get through like the pre-alpha, alpha, and get to the full release and stuff. So all those features then. All right. Next question is: will the music in the game be a fixed loop recording, or will we have access to a specific Cosmic Universe music library that we can interact with?
For the earlier versions, we are probably going to stick with looped music, but we already have some music that is being composed. I'm not a musician by any means, so I can't necessarily answer to that. This would probably be answered better by Wizard himself, but later on, I'm pretty sure that we are gonna have like a custom Cosmic Universe library. It might be made like theme-based or race-based in the future. And now this particular question got me thinking, how should we implement something like this? Is there a creative way how we can make it so that it's not like your standard software-ish music player? Maybe something like in GTA where you have your in-car radio or something like that. So there might be a room for us to consider something interesting, like maybe having something like interesting Wizardy radio or Elvish radio or something like that. But we are probably gonna come up with some not necessarily crazy but interesting idea. And I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be a lots of music stuff down the road. Just like I said, I'm not a musician myself, but from the perspective of technical developer, there is no problem implementing that. It's just a way how we are gonna do it to make it the most pleasing experience.
Cool. So the next one we've got is, hello team, what kind of structures will be around the map that aren't player placed? In the videos I've seen stone shrines and ruin structures. Would this affect building space on your plot, and if so, would they have benefits to them as inner use to players so you get more footfall, etc.?
Some of the non-player structures would affect the building process. We are considering ways of utilizing them while keeping track and not making anything disbalanced, OP, or underpowered. Some of them we are considering to make them so that some of them might be able to be converted into resources, something like timber, rock, or whatever that's gonna be in a final version. So yeah, that's the answer. The main thing is not to make things disbalanced. And of course they are gonna be, as of right now, of course, land plots are not the same compared to each other, because the game would be boring otherwise, right? And it could be sort of a balancing factor, but and to be honest, I can't list all of them. Like we are considering changing some of them to make it more interesting, and we are developing the first map at the moment, which is the Cosmic Island, and we are still considering some design aspects and technical aspects, gameplay aspects, both from visual and technical perspective. But yeah, the answer is yes, some of them will have specific and individual properties compared to others.
I think a lot of us are really excited to see what's coming for Enchanted Forest. Haven't seen a lot of that yet, so that's going to be really cool.
Oh yeah, that's the upcoming part. I think it is expected to be to have some showcase of that part in the upcoming weeks.
Wicked. How will the characters move from one island to another? What can an animal companion do? Does it help in building? Does it make your energy last longer? There's a 4-part question.
So I would like to answer
Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I would like to answer this question in 2 ways. The one way is from gamer's perspective. The answer from gamer's perspective would be you will be traveling from one map to another by teleportation. From technical perspective, that would probably be by being sent to another game map. I don't know how much you guys are interested into deep technical breakdowns and divings, but feel free to torture me with your technical questions. I always like to provide technical answers as well. And coming back to the question, animals would definitely have some utility. They won't be all the same, of course. Different animals will give you different boosts, different abilities, different bonuses. That's something that we are considering at the moment, how we are gonna implement this. But this gives us a playroom to have different implementations of different things. And this is going to be the case for Wizards themselves and the next race that's upcoming after Wizards. So we are trying to make it really so that the game isn't as uniform when it comes to different 3D assets.
Create some interest.
Yeah, and they're going to be as unique as possible.
There's a couple of questions in here that aren't relevant to Drago, so they have been answered by Wiz, and we'll post a channel up with their answers afterwards. So if you see your question being missed out, don't panic, we are getting to them. And I also have some 3D wizards to share, so I'll pop them in AMA questions channel now, and then we'll do an announcement after this with all the pictures all together so everybody can see. Rip, if you're there, how many wizards shall we show right now? Should we stagger them?
Yeah, let's do 3.
Let's do 2.
We'll do 2. All right. I was being kind.
Let's do 2 because we've got 4 to share of the wizards.
All right,
so we'll
all
do 2 now, 2 later, and then we'll show some structures.
All right. What question were we up to? Or should we wait and... Yes.
AMA questions channel.
Yep.
Oh, that's right, I was doing 2. We've got a video coming up of the Rainbow Beard 2, which we're going to drop soon, and I think you're all going to be really stoked with it. It's going to look so wicked. Okay, so we are up to in future, will there be a PvP island? Is that the whole question? Yes. In the future, will there be a PvP island?
It's not the full question, actually. You should read the lines
Okay.
below that.
Perhaps this island might not be owned by any single race, but contains super rare resources or quests for those who are willing to risk ambush by other players. So it could be like optional PvP with good risk-reward trade-off, and would encourage people to join guilds/teams for safety in numbers.
Yeah, I gotta say thank you for sharing this interesting idea. at the moment, we don't have anything planned for this in particular. A dedicated PvP island could be an option in the future, definitely. But it's just something that we didn't set in stone at the moment. And I'm going to repeat myself, but feel free to share your ideas regarding this thing in particular. But like I said, it's definitely an option in the future, and an interesting one, I would say.
Rip, do you want to take the next question on? I'll fix our giveaways channel.
Rhythm's doing that.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm not sure where we're up to.
Okay. How is the game dev team balancing the importance of going live with something quickly while at the same time wanting to meet the big expectations of the community? My gut would be to ship ASAP and improve over time, but I'm interested in how you all are thinking about this.
This is probably my favorite question, I gotta say, because it's very honest. I would say it's great that community is demanding and excited. We know that we are creating something big and different when it comes to project in general. And this isn't just a game, it's a whole metaverse, and even bigger than that. And our vision as a developer, our vision is to prioritize long-term quality and success of this project, Cosmic Universe. And we are actively listening to our community, and we are going to give our best to provide some experience from time to time. Just like in this particular session, you guys are able to witness and see the progress when it comes to Wizards characters. And in the upcoming days, we are going to have some more videos. Something that we haven't discussed or thought about, but maybe having some mini games published from time to time. When I say mini games, I mean modules / parts of the in-game experience. But at the end of the day, we gotta keep the long-term success of the project of the game as our main priority. That's our vision, that's our philosophy. But we are not gonna leave you starving. You will guys be able to have some early experiences of the game. You will be able to see what's the preview, what's the game gonna be like in the future, so that you guys can have your feedback. But like I said, we prioritize long-term success, and like I said, it's very good that community is excited, but we are aiming for longer-term success rather than short-term. That's my answer.
Yeah, absolutely. Next question is, from the standpoint of a developer that is familiar with Unreal Engine 4, would you say, given the current dev team, that the roadmap is very, very possible, like alpha in a few months and beta end of year?
Yeah, short answer is yes, it is realistic. We are probably going to fill in a few additional developer roles, specifically talking more on the programming part, but that is according to the plan. That is something that is that has been already discussed and included in the plan, so it's going all as planned. And I would like also to add that we wanted to start with a smaller team at the moment for the starters, since that way it's easier to scale the overall production and add the features easier down the road. So that's our philosophy, how we are approaching the project.
So Smokey asks, will the character's background attribute play a part in the game?
Yeah, the questioner said, for example, I have a starry night. And indeed, we should come up with an interesting and good way how we are going to utilize the background trait group of characters, since 3D characters won't have a use of a background trait. Your idea is cool. when I read the question, I was thinking maybe having something like a landscape sort of painting in your tent, in your house, that you will be able to build. But we can definitely come up with some interesting ways how we can utilize the background, because they are looking nice, and it's just a shame that they are not in 3D, like we couldn't convert them one-to-one for characters. That's a single trait group that we just couldn't convert. But we can still use it for some things. Maybe it will give you some specific traits, some specific abilities, but we are going to look into that.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few different suggestions, and we've got some internally as well, some ideas that we are thinking about. So yeah, we definitely want to do something with the background. Particularly mine. Mine's awesome.
Rhythm's background will definitely make him the evil twin.
Yeah.
Who's twin?
So,
We
last
could probably...
minute question from Skyam.
Okay, yep, go.
Many games in the MMO space have been successful over many, many years thanks to a satisfying gameplay loop and combat system. I wonder what the main gameplay loop for Cosmic Universe is going to look like, and what you guys are planning to keep me as a player playing for years to come. Personally believe that either PvP or PvE with good combat mechanics are required to keep players engaged with the game, so I'd like to know if there are plans to build these systems and mechanics over the coming months or years.
Yeah, so like I said before, and like I've answered to one of the previous questions, we do definitely plan on having more and more content for the years to come. I can share a lot at the moment, but from what I've seen and from what I've been following when it comes to other games, I would say that, and one of the most successful games to be specific, we are most probably gonna have a more interesting game loop. And I gotta say, your question definitely makes sense, because an interesting and interactive game loop is very important, because that can make or break your game. That's very legitimate question, and we are gonna listen to you guys. Like I said many times, I know I'm repeating myself, but you are quite active as a community. So we are encouraging you guys to stay active, and of course we are gonna be actively listening to you guys, to your feedback and ideas. And to come back to the question itself, like I said, we are probably gonna have more feature-rich gameplay compared to other games out there, but we can't anything specific share at the moment. PvP aspects are definitely in the talks, PvE as well, but at the moment we can't share a lot regards to that.
Yeah, so we're still developing at a sort of a base level on what we're going to be doing. So, all right, that's all of the time we had for pre-selected questions. So I'd like to get some live questions from everyone. I think Joe Goodman had his hand raised, so I'll bring you up onto stage, Joe, and you can ask your question.
And then after that, we'll go to Papa Big Mac's question in general.
Cool.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
I was just going to ask a question. I didn't get to ask it on the AMA questions. Is there going to be like the auction house, like in World of Warcraft they have? Can we do that in the game, or will it be just more text-based, I guess, not walking in and discussing with people? Yeah.
Yes, so you'll be able to interact in game. So you'll have the full 3D MMO style of interacting with all of the finance, the side of things.
Yeah, okay. I was just thinking like how in the main city, so I was just thinking like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's definitely
Okay.
part of it, and that's definitely something I want too. So
wicked. Great. Thanks.
all good.
Papa Big Mac asked, will there be an option to have high graphics for systems that can handle it, like low, medium, high, extreme graphics?
The answer is yes. There is no reason not to have that. That's short and direct answer. We are definitely aware. I mean, it's an industry standard to have this as a consideration when you are developing a game, and we are definitely aware that different people have different computer specs, and we want to allow people with beefier computers to enjoy better graphics, and also to allow people with lesser computer systems to still enjoy gameplay, even though they might not have all the visual effects, all the fidelities and graphics effects up to the maximum. But yeah, I mean, the answer is we are going to follow the industry standard, and yes, there will be options to switch between different graphics presets. When it comes to specific options, I mean, it's way too early to talk about them, but it's gonna be implemented in a proper way.
Cool. So I think we'll bring Skyrim up to the stage.
Yep, just invited him up to speak. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Hello.
Perfect. Hello, I have a question for Velsagard. Sorry if I butchered your name, but I would like to know more about your background. Have you worked on any games or projects that I might know about?
Yeah.
Or anyone?
Yeah. You can call me Dragoslav. My first name is Dragoslav, and Dragos for short. Yeah.
Okay.
About my background, I have worked with projects that are not game development centric. I've worked in digital twins, for example, and other so-called enterprise projects. When it comes to gameplay, I've worked on like this past summer, I have worked on quite a big metaverse project. Unluckily, and by the way, I can't speak about that project because that particular project is under NDA. But what I can tell you is that was backed by quite a big investor for the other company that I was working for at the time, and with my colleagues that are working with me on this Cosmic Universe project. It was meant to be quite a big, quite ambitious project, but the client, the company that was investing and funding the project didn't do the best job. And also, I mean, there were things that just were not in my jurisdiction, like you can't control everything as a developer. When it comes to my background, I would say that maybe this is something that I should have added in my introduction in the beginning, but I myself I would label myself as a kind of developer, kind of person who likes to balance between art, which means visual part, and also technical part. So today you might find me working on a visual part, like standard 3D graphics. The other day you might find me programming and doing R&D and researching all of the things, taking care of the architecture, how's the project done. Also, I like to develop a lot of automation tools to help artists to speed up their workflow, make their lives easier. Yeah, when it comes to projects that I have worked on, as far as I know, there are none of them that are published or AAA very very famous. I haven't worked on AAA titles such as Call of Duty, Fortnite, and stuff like that. I haven't worked on them. But yeah, I mean, feel free to ask me more specific things if you want, or just feel free to, you can just Google me, like you can just type in my name on Google and find more about me. I'm definitely quite open and not shy about it.
All right, thanks. That was really comprehensive. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for your
Perfect.
question.
I might just... Does anyone want to see a structure that's
Yes.
going to be buildable? Alright. Alright, let me drop that.
So what's the question?
So we don't have one at the moment. We just I just dropped
okay.
the structures into the AMA questions channel.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah, let
No,
me just
not
turn
you. Sorry.
the
Next
volume.
question.
I'm up here as a fan right now. I just want to know, like, what the team's favorite games are. Like, what gave inspiration to some of the things that are being implemented into the game itself?
You guys wanna go first?
Yeah.
Maybe?
So for me, a lot
I-
of... Oh, you go, Shan. You go.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
let the lady go first.
Yep, I'm being polite.
For me, it's the mixture of World of Warcraft with Animal Crossing. Both I spent so many years, so many hours of my life completely obsessed with, like waking up at 6 a.m. still playing WoW while my flatmates are going off to work, sort of thing. And Animal Crossing, I think I spent 4 months straight neglecting my family. Sorry, family. But yeah, for me, it's the mixture of that. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, for me as well. I never played Animal Crossing, but definitely World of Warcraft. Kind of a bit of like almost The Sims as well. I think in some of our inspiration, just with
And if we get those small companion pets and mix some Pokemon into that, that's
Yeah.
it. I'm done.
Yep. So yeah,
Is it my turn?
That's the main inspiration for me. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, my turn now. Well, I have never played World of Warcraft, shame on me, but I have definitely played the OG Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos and Frozen Throne, and I liked the lore, and of course I played some Dota later on. That's around 2008-ish, 9-ish, the Dota 1 game. And before they butchered it with Dota 2 because of the visual stuff, they couldn't, because of copyrights, they couldn't copy over the visual part. Coming back to my games, I would say that unique thing about me is I like to mix different things. And of course, it's obvious that this game is MMORPG. So when it comes to RPG element, one of my favorite games, if not the favorite game of my life, is Stalker, which is pretty similar. For those who haven't heard about this game, it's pretty similar to Metro series. And it's an FPS shooter, but with RPG elements. And like I said, I think mixing art style from, I would describe it as friendly Warcraft with different games. I think it should come out as an interesting mixture. And yeah, Warcraft is the most influential game for my part when it comes to Cosmic Universe. Although it's not the number one overall, like I said, Stalker, and I played some competition games, competitive games, even played on tournaments. But yeah, Warcraft. Yeah, about Warcraft and different games such as Stalker. Completely different art style, but hey, there are no boundaries when it comes to getting inspired and interested in things.
Yeah, for sure. We had a question in general just now that you may or may not know offhand. Do you know what the dimensions of that house that I shared are? That was the advanced home?
Oh, that's a tough question for me. To be honest, I don't know the exact dimensions.
Yeah.
I could only guess, and I would probably be off with my guessing.
Yeah. So yeah, we're not sure, but you can use the wizard next to it for scale. Yes, it can fit in one plot.
Yeah, that's for certain.
A plot is 50 meters by 50 meters.
Yeah,
so
it's very big.
it's a very large house.
Right, does anyone else have their hand up to speak?
I don't know what that is in Freedom Unit.
Any other questions from the community?
I can't see any.
Alright, so you may want to check out the giveaway channels if you're listening to the AMA.
What's that?
There's something in there for you. Alright.
We've got this thatched shelter to share too, as well as a couple of assets. Shall I pop those in the AMA questions channel? Yes,
Yeah.
you may, Pepe. Go ahead.
We'll get Pepe on stage. Where is he?
Accept.
There we go.
Push to talk required. Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
I was wondering, out of curiosity, are you guys taking a lot of inspiration from other games that are similar to this? For me, this seems very similar to RuneScape, and it seems like the whole idea that Wiz has is very similar to what just happened to RuneScape in the economy with people similar in Venezuela and things for them to be able to make a livable income. Are you thinking of that when you're designing this as a whole? Obviously, it's a large amount of aspects together, but I'm just curious on your input on that.
I never played RuneScape, so I have no idea what RuneScape is about. But
Yeah.
I know that what you've said. I've heard from some people as well. So maybe ?
Yeah.
But
I
not
definitely
from my
think it'd be,
inspiration.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about the others. Drago, do you?
Never played RuneScape, and
Copy.
I'm kind of slow when it comes to following all the trends with all the games coming out. When I find a game that is interesting to me, I kind of stick to it. I get very passionate and attracted to a specific game. So you could say that I'm a keeper when it comes to gamers' personalities, all kind of type. But there are many systems and many things that we are taking into consideration about the overall game design. And just like I mentioned while I was answering the previous questions, there are many things that have to be taken into consideration and made balanced. So you gotta balance visual aspect. You gotta balance, for example, we gotta be careful how we create houses and all the structures so that they are properly scaled for characters, because with first-person games, for example, it's relatively easier to have any kind of structure because your camera is, first-person camera, it's relatively easy. But when you have a game like this, where and when it's a third-person perspective camera, you gotta keep thinking about how you're gonna move the camera, how's your player gonna go about the corners, about those different structures. And this is just one part of the question or answer. And the other part is always, how do you balance things? Because if certain things are OP or UP, I mean, of course, it's gonna be misbalanced all over the place. But it's a overall balancing act between visual parts, gameplay parts, technical parts, and etc. etc.
Yeah,
it's
I don't envy you guys. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Peppy.
Thanks, Peppy.
Dish had
Did
a
I
question.
get it right this time?
It's all good.
Yep.
Just about the customizability of colors using Cosmic and how that will work. So, do you mean spending Cosmic in game for Cosmic changes? For like cosmetic changes? Sorry. Yeah. So yes, that will be possible. That's one of the uses of Cosmic, as well as things like speeding up building and perhaps replenishing energy. We haven't sort of detailed exactly all of the use cases for Cosmic, but all of those sorts of things will be included in that. And essentially it will be to walk up to an NPC perhaps and speak to the NPC, initiate a transaction to spend Cosmic, and then you will get the reward from that. It should be as straightforward as that, right, Drago?
Yeah, very similar to how you described it. And while you were answering, I was thinking, coming back to our favorite games, and I remember in Dota, and not just in Dota, but in Warcraft, you had those so-called traders to whom you could walk up to, and they would sell you different stones, different items, and they would rip you off with with gold coins.
Yeah.
But we would have something similar, although we would try not to rip you off. I'm just joking. But anyway, I mean, seriously speaking now, something like those so-called traders that I mentioned from not just Dota, but other games had it, Warcraft, World of Warcraft probably, and something like that. An NPC, and where you would be able to convert Cosmic for other token or maybe in-game token. We are probably going to have a marketplace. I don't know. This is something that we are discussing at the moment. Maybe there will be like a marketplace where you can exchange different resources, such as maybe timber, rocks, maybe water or sand, whatever that we are going to have as building resources. But the answer is yes, we are going to have
perfect.
So-called traders.
Another question from the chat was, what's the target FPS that we are aiming for the game to be optimized? Do you have a number in mind?
Well, the industry standard for games like this is 60 FPS.
Yeah.
And there is no need to go higher than that. And although we are going to aim for about 60, games like this is one of the things that is actually good about this project, because it's not a kind of game like Counter-Strike or those very high-speed games. Even if you have something like 40-ish FPS, you would still be able to enjoy quite smooth game experience. But we are gonna go with the industry standard and that would be 60 FPS. And the particular resolution that we are aiming for is full HD, which would be 1920 by 1080. So that's kind of the standard and the most popular one, I would say. But yeah, that's the answer.
Perfect. Well, we're pretty much up with the hour now. Are there any last minute questions from anyone? Okay.
Game says he has one above.
Yeah, so I'm just reading that now. So in the main Enchanteria area, what will it include since that land is massive? Is there something you're planning to add?
Question before that.
Did I?
Yeah, we'll get to it next time.
Okay. Is there something you're planning to add which you can share? Yes, we are adding the city of Enchanteria.
I think this is the question. Do you guys keep an eye on indie successes like Valheim to replicate some aspects of their success? I think that's the particular question for Skyrim. Honestly, with all the tasks and all the things that we are working on, I'm very struggling to keep up with all the happenings and all the events with other games. And this is, well, the first part of the answer is because I just don't have the time. And the second part of the answer would be, I actually think that this is a good thing from my side. This is something that I would do consciously. Because this approach allows you as an artist, as a creative person, to not look at others and compete with them directly. Because when you do that, you are actually chasing their tail, sort of. And when you focus on your part, when you focus on your stuff, this, in most of the cases, leads to a more unique product, whether that's a game, and because video games are very, very creative medium when you look all across the board. So yeah, that's my answer. I like to keep things. I like to keep focusing on the project that I'm working at the moment, and at the moment that is Cosmic Universe, we know what's definitely not gonna work from technical, from visual, and from gameplay perspective, and we also know some of the things that are going to work. We don't know absolutely everything, but like I said many times, we are actively listening to the community. So me personally, I don't necessarily have to keep track with all the things, even if I could, because other people around me do keep track. We as developers play games from time to time. Other team members, for example, Riptide, Shantastic, and other guys do play games, and they give their active feedback when it comes to development part. And of course, community people, they definitely play games. So yeah, that's all helpful when it comes to coming up with the best and most creative decisions.
Right. Yes, we definitely play games.
I rage quit Planet Zoo the other day.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Can you jump in game?
Yes, you can.
We've got a question from Kangishik that is, how will the rental program work? That's kind of a big question, and we probably can't really answer it thoroughly at this stage since we're still working all of that out. It's definitely going to be like down the track that we implement that. So like the pre-alpha is definitely for people that own land and own a wizard, where the rental program won't be available, and it may not be available for alpha. Yeah. Well. So it's definitely still being developed. But yeah, that's probably all we can really say at the moment.
Yep. Is there any death and reborn case like in GTA? Probably not, because we wanted to keep our game peaceful. I would describe it that way. And yeah, that would be the answer. No deaths or people or characters or animals being hurt.
Yeah. In situations where like a respawn or something may be required, like maybe if your character's stuck, we might have a character stuck button where you sort of teleport out of your situation back to some other sort of home place, like a Hearthstone kind of thing in World of Warcraft, something like that. But yeah, no death.
Yeah, that's a correct answer from technical perspective.
I don't really know anything about DeFi Kingdoms, so
No, neither do I.
I don't really know. But as far as I know, it's more of an idle game than what we are. It's definitely not anything like what we're doing.
Yeah, I don't know either.
How will chatting work in game? Overhead chat bubbles in the direct area, or will there just be a world general chat similar to this chat?
From design perspective, chat bubbles could be an option, but the visual aspect, the design part, how we are going to implement it, we don't have a decision for that at the moment. Chat bubbles are cool idea, and this is probably something that would have to be tested in something like beta version, maybe, to see does it make sense, is the text easy to read for others, for other players, how interactive it is, etc. So yeah, not the most not the best answer, but it is what it is at the moment. We are looking into design aspects.
Yeah, so we're still very early in that
process.
Sorry,
this next question I think is one that Rip would probably like to answer. Will there be the ability to do community projects in game to build wonders?
Yes, I would like to answer that. Who asked that? I didn't see that.
Snotty Waffle.
Yes, we do want to do that. I particularly want to do that. So we're still like talking about ways to do it and how it would be implemented technically and all of that sort of thing. But it's definitely on our radar for a feature that we would like to have in game for sure.
Yeah, this sounds like something that should be scheduled to be implemented around final release, something like that.
Yeah,
because
sure.
The important part is for community projects you need to have multiple people involved, and we need to see how are the dynamics gonna be. Is it gonna work for smaller groups, for bigger groups, etc., etc. But yeah, that's the rough estimate that I would say.
So we've gone over the hour already, but we'll probably go for another 5 to 10 minutes if everyone's cool with that.
Yep.
Cheesy has a good question about gameplay. What would it be like entering our building? Will the structure be open to the map, or will there be a small load screen and the house as a separate map?
At the moment, we are gonna go with the option to have a loading screen. However, the game is gonna be well optimized. It's our plan to have it well optimized so that that loading screen might more be like a fade in, fade out kind of screen. You won't need to wait like multiple seconds or, for God's sake, multiple minutes for that to load. So yeah, it's gonna be like very short transitional screen, and the structures, houses in particular, at the moment our design decision is to keep them as a separate level, so to say. Things might change in the future, but I'm saying how it is at the moment. That's what we are gonna go after for the time being.
All right. What is the biggest obstacle slowing the team down at the moment?
Well, we are making very good progress when it comes to characters. And to be fair, I can't single out anything that is necessarily slowing us down. And but yeah, I would say it's going well all across the board when it comes to things. We don't have anything that is necessarily protecting us, forbidding us, or blocking us from doing the thing. The game is going smooth, and the environments in particular are gonna be, when I say environments, I mean the map itself. It is expected to have its progress speeded up in the future, but overall, like, can't really single out anything or complain about anything.
Perfect.
It actually took me much longer to answer the question because I was literally trying to come up with something. If something is, if anything is blocking us at the moment, but no, really no. And you'll see in the upcoming weeks and months the amount of content that we are gonna be pushing out.
Perfect.
Rip, do you want to answer this one from Kankishik? How else do you make money? Do we have to pay to play if we already own Land and Wizard?
So no, you don't have to pay to play. It's kind of the opposite. So if you play, you earn. So there will be multiple ways to earn through playing, staking, quest rewards, harvesting resources and selling those resources, things that I haven't thought of yet, things I've forgotten, tons of different ways to be able to earn. But yeah, there's no like subscription or anything like that, if that's what you're meaning.
Shall we take Skirt's question and then how many is after that?
We can probably only do a couple more before we sort of wrap it up.
I see this one. Do you have any idea how long it would take to walk across the island as a character, assuming no obstacles? The map is around 5 kilometers in length and width. It's actually a bit more than that. It's around 5,500-ish meters. And we are at the moment testing different movement speeds because we would probably implement different speeds, different walking modes or travel modes. You would probably be able to crouch, you would be able to walk, you would be able to sprint, probably, although it's probably not the most wizardy thing in the world, but hey, you might be able to do that with different potions, different magics, etc., spells. And the average speed, I would have to bring up my calculator, but I would say something like 5 minutes, if you account for average walking speed, which would be around 5 to 6 kilometers per hour. So no, actually, it would be much
longer.
Yeah, actually, much longer. I would say something like 15-ish minutes. We are probably gonna make wizards faster, but that's prone to change.
Yeah.
My math is probably very off.
All right. Apparently, I missed the first part of that question, so I'll just quickly address that. So, how will CU, Cosmic Universe, make money? So, we will make money through the marketplace. So, we will have a percentage that will come to us to continue to refill our treasuries that way. We'll also have the things that you can pay for with Cosmic, such as cosmetic changes or speeding up builds, that kind of thing, that will come into our treasury to fund further development, plus all of the minting of further races and different islands. All sorts of channels for funds to come in to continue the development and creation of content. All right. Any other questions stand out that we want to address before we wrap it up?
Minimum requirements for PC to play the game haven't been decided yet. Is that right? Sorry for my birds.
I mean, it's alternative, like.
Yeah,
for
all
now.
of that is unknown at this stage. All right, well, I think that's as good a spot as any to wrap up the AMA. So we will post Wizard's answers to questions that were asked previously. We'll put that up at some stage today. But thank you everyone for being here and listening. Thank you for all the questions. It's very cool. And we're planning on hosting regular AMAs now, so get used to hearing our voice. Thanks, Drago, for coming. It's very
Thank you guys
insightful.
as well. It was a pleasure.
Perfect.
Thanks, Drago. Thanks, everybody.